Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fascinating Womanhood channel, where we talk about all things that have to do with femininity and building strong, long-lasting, loving relationships. I am Cherry Lynn, and I'm here with my mom, Dixie and Dylan Forsyth. Hi.
Hi.
We're so excited to be here today to talk to you about our brand new book. It just came out in February, right around Valentine's Day, and we are so excited to go through it with you, talk about why it is our newest book, why we wrote it. I shouldn't say we, because it's really you, but why.
Well, this one is different than the other one because you and my other daughter, Lisa, and me, we all worked on this.
We all contributed a little bit. I contributed the least.
Well, we contributed a lot. And so that's why all of us are on as authors of it.
Yes. So the book is called My Love, a Romantic Journal. Now, I will say the one that we're showing in our video has a little error in the title. This has been fixed. It says My Love Journal, a Romantic Journal. That was an error that we could go on and on about. What we won't. It's fixed now. That's all that's important. It's really called My Love, a Romantic Journal. And it is for sale right now on Amazon. But before we kind of dive into what's in the book and what's inside of it and show you all the amazing, adorable little graphics, we do want to talk a little bit about why this book, because we have so many books that we want to write. We want to write a book for children. We want to write a book about cooking. We have so many books we want to write. Why did you want to write this book? Why was it first on your priority list? And where'd the idea come from?
It came originally from my mother. My mother was not raised with Fascinating Womanhood like I was. It came about because she wanted the marriage that she dreamed of as a child started to be kind of dull. She didn't have a bad marriage. She never did. My dad stopped saying those really romantic things. It sort of went into kind of a routine, and she didn't like that. When Fascinating Womanhood, she came across some of these principles and developed this. Then when he started to say these really romantic things to her, meant so much to her. She got a little notebook, which was blank, and she wrote them down and dated every date and everything. And that's why we produced. That's the first thing we produced. I was still writing my book, and that's called The Love Book. The Love Book. Yeah, it's for sale on Amazon. What it is, we put together, waited till she passed away, of course, all the romantic things that he said to her, and there's some neat pictures in there of their wedding rings.
It's really
it's really sweet. And it's sort of my mother's own success story, really, in that form. And so when I got one, I thought, this book is produced because I wanted it. And we wanted it because I
wanted it too.
What this does is this gives you prompts so that you don't wait for him to say something.
One thing that I really love about this, because at first the idea of a love book was really confusing to me. I was like, well, what does that mean? And when you guys started to describe what you were envisioning, I realized, oh my gosh, I have so many things, physical things for my husband that I just keep in weird places, like what you described, a journal. I have a little journal with some of the cards he sent me from flowers that he sent me over the years and anniversaries and stuff. And I keep all those, and they're just in weird loose spots, and they're not in the same spots. And I have concert tickets and things. I love that this book is a way for you to not only record the story, but also record the item. I think it's kind of amazing that it doesn't exist already.
I know. And it as we got working on it, I was more and more excited about it because it's a way to record not just things he says, cute things he says, kind things he's done for others, for you, things that you love about him, his interests, his hobbies, all these things. I was thinking this morning that if everybody could fill out, and you don't do it all at once, this is meant to take a while. Maybe buy one once a year. Once it's filled out, anybody looking at this would think, man, whoever this is a pretty amazing guy. And because everything in here is true, there's nothing negative. It starts out, this very first part, it says his name, as though, in other words, if he comes across your book, it's not like you don't want him to see it. In some ways, you kind of wish he did. It says his name. It says if you
depends on the guy.
Yeah, if you happen to see this, I want you to know that everything in here is true. And I love you with all my heart. So if he runs across it, it's not like you don't want him to see it. It also has neat things in here to keep track of, like his size. So if you're going to shop for him for something, you've got his sizes in here, shoe size and shirt size and and tips for things that he has said he likes for gift ideas. So we added even some of those things. So these prompts aren't just for romantic things he says. We expanded on it to include treasure hunting for all these great things about him. So if he's ever in a kind of a slump spot where you feel like, gee, he hasn't been very nice to me lately, or you're irritated with him, you can look in here and see some of the great things he's done, some of the things you admire about him is in here, and you can think he's the greatest guy ever all over again.
One of the things that I love about it, I'm a little bit more private, and I really hope that my husband doesn't ever end up reading it. I love that the outside kind of just looks like a book. It doesn't say like really specifically what it is. And some might see this book for sale and say, what is that? That's kind of why we did this cover. And I just love the cover. I think it's so sweet, vintage. And, and I know we went through so many images trying to figure out which one we wanted to use. We just wanted something that kind of looked like a little bit of a question mark as to the person outside seeing it. And it fits right in your purse. So, if some of these things happen, let's say you're out and about and you just remember, I want to write this down. It's designed to be slim and small to fit in your purse, and you can just jot it down. And I love that because I'm a little bit more private about it, and I don't want anybody to see it and think I'm like scrapbooking about my husband. That's not what it is. It's not.
No, it isn't.
I can easily see it going into that strange place, and that's not what it is at all. It's really, truly something dedicated to growing the romance in your marriage.
Now, I would say that as we grow further, we can have the love journal be have more details in it. Like I wanted a ribbon in here.
Yeah.
So I glued in the back my own envelope to put.
Oh, I love that.
If it stubs, you can glue it in the back, and you could glue another one over here if you want to keep things in. But to have, Amazon doesn't put those things in. Add photographs and things like that if you want to it.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the partnership that you had with Lisa? Because I know you mentioned that I helped with it a little bit, and I helped with it like a sliver. But you and Lisa really were the main authors of this book. Do you want to talk a little bit about that partnership and why you wanted her to help you with it?
Yeah, a lot of you don't know Lisa as well because she's more behind the scenes, but she's very much a part of our team, and she was very instrumental in this coming about, which is why her name is listed first. She's the newest married of us, shall we say. She hasn't been married as long as, especially me. No one's been married as long as me. but we thought we collaborated on this and thought this would be a great idea. And she came up with a lot of ideas. She's very creative. She put a lot of effort into this. She did a lot of the visuals for this. So she's very much a very important part of this coming about. And I have to say, this is just volume 1. We're going to do another volume. This took long enough. I can't say when, but the second one should be.
How long did it take?
This first one?
Almost 2 years, right?
Yeah, it did. I thought it was going to be easy because the prompts were actually fun to come up with, all these prompts. And there's a bunch more that we have for the next one, which is going to be more for a newlywed one. It's going to include stuff about engagement and your wedding, your first house, and things like that.
I have one thing to say about Lisa being involved in this. And what I love so much about Lisa is that she is perhaps one of the most humorous, hilarious people I know. She has such an amazing sense of humor. And she puts her humor very, very tastefully in this book. And what I mean by that is there's a page, and I don't have it marked, with lips going, mwah, mwah, mwah. Like,
yeah, that's so
her. And I love that she put her personality into this and her humor. And it's very whimsical because of her. Yeah.
I found it, but I filled out that page too. So
it's just cute. It makes you smile. And her style of writing and her way of looking at things just makes you smile.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. So, and that's my one thing about Lisa. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that one thing that I think is really amazing about this book is that it has prompts in it from Timeless. What I'm referring to is it talks about things like what helps him to stay upstairs and what helps him to get upstairs. And I love some of those prompts because to me, they go so hand in hand with the original FW, but they also go even more hand in hand with your newer books. Because people always say things like, the vintage book, which one do I read? Do I read this or do I read Timeless? Which one do I do? Well, the great thing about this is it goes with all of them. So I love that.
That's right.
We want to go through just a few pages of highlights in the book that are our favorites to give you a little sneak peek, so that way you can kind of see. I don't think on Amazon it shows any of this.
No.
So you can see it here.
And none of us have had this very long, so these are not all filled out. There's so many. It's hard to kind of narrow down, but I like this one. Times he has forgiven me. And then there's a little visual to go with it. Something that is better between us today than it was a year ago. So it's the next page. There's pictures throughout. This is also, we could call it a treasure hunting book.
Yeah.
For women that are feeling like their husband isn't doing this and isn't doing that. As you treasure hunt and constantly you have this book and you're wanting to fill it out, and it has these talents that he has that are the big ones and the small ones. You can look for those things. As you read through this, you'll be looking for those things. Gee, I don't know what the answer to that is. I'll find it. Then you watch for it. This can improve your marriage.
It absolutely, and it improves your mindset as a woman. I think that's what I love so much about it, is it even just flipping through it, you kind of get an instant mood boost of all the things that you love about your relationship and your husband. Even if it has been 10 plus years that you felt like things were really great, you will remember those things by
look for them. Like there's a page in here that says something wise that he said, something profound that he said. You'll look for those things so you can write it down.
One of my favorite pages is page 6. It's right in the beginning. It says his best friends growing up, some of his childhood dreams and fantasies, and school experiences when he was a kid. And I love these little graphics. The one that has a picture of a crown over his head, his best friends growing up.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that I love this one so much, particularly me, and this is different for everybody, but my husband grew up in Mexico, and there's a lot of things that I don't know about his childhood, but there are some things that I do, and I forget about those things because I learned most of them when we were first married. And so it's been a while. And I love the second I read that, it's like I was transported back in time to when he told me about some of his first experiences at school when he was a kid. And when he moved to the United States, he didn't speak any English, and how that first day of school was so hard on him. And I just admired him so much for being so courageous as a little kid. And I forgot that story until I read that prompt. And, it's almost like your memories kind of disappear, but this book helps keep them alive. And I love that. So I love that page. It's one of my favorite pages.
And this one of mine, which is page 8, describe his smile. Describe his eyes, some of his best physical features. And those are fun to fill out too.
I love this page. It's page 49. Funny things he says that make me laugh. Romantic things he has said to me. Now, my love language is words of affirmation. So this part is really important to me because it has a spot for me to say the times that he has said something to me, I can record it and I can remember it. And it almost feels like
it's new again.
My soul by reading it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love that page. Another one I love, ways he has supported me. And it's just a funny, kind of cute, whimsical page in general. I love that because those are things that you forget about. Sometimes you think treasure hunting is just about, chivalry and doing favors, but ways he has supported me. I love that. I think that's so great. There's so many things you could write there. In fact, I feel like I need another page there.
In fact, we're learning from this. Thinks, gee, I wish there was more pages there. Here's one of my favorite great things about him that I sometimes take for granted.
That's a really good one.
They're all really good.
Brainstorming ideas for gifts I can give him. This one's a big one. This isn't just about love. This is actually about getting something accomplished. And I think a lot of ladies want hints for birthdays and Christmas anniversaries. And this is a place where if you go shopping, as I mentioned earlier, you can throw this in your purse. If you go shopping and you see something, you're like, oh, that might be a great thing for him, but I don't need it now. And maybe you don't want to buy it now. You can write it down and say, ooh, I was at the store and he was smelling this cologne and he said he liked it. Write down what kind of cologne that was and you'll remember to go get it.
And say that item is not on sale and you want to wait for it to be on sale. You can look around and find it at a better price. For example.
Yeah, and then the next thing you know, it'll be gift giving time and he'll open it and he'll go, oh, how did you know? You remembered. Like, I remembered. I wrote it down. I just love all that. I think it's really fun and it's so sweet. I also love the very last page. Well, it's not the last page, but it's almost the last page, 101, where it says, when we are old, I hope our relationship is like this. and it has this cute couple that's a little bit older smiling. And I just think that's so sweet. And the back also has a ton of extra pages if you want to write more.
Yes, it does. And you could put in the back, since these are blank, you could put in the back, continued from page whatever. And then
yeah. And you can also get more, like you mentioned earlier. We plan on releasing more editions. We plan on releasing a newlywed edition
with different covers. All of them will have different.
One that's a little bit more geared towards parents. We were talking about doing one that's a little bit more geared towards the empty nesters. Mm-hmm. So we can come up with some different volumes for different times in your life.
And think your descendants, say 100 years from now, 200 years from now, what, or let's say 200 years ago, what if you had a volume, not just one volume, a set of these from one of your ancestors that lived in the 1500s, 1600s? Do you know how valuable these would be?
How amazing would that be?
You will be creating something that will last.
Yes.
If you take care of it.
This is My Love, the Love Journal. It's available on Amazon right now. We're working on a digital copy, so the ladies that are limited with shipping overseas can also have it digitally and write in a more unique way. It's in paperback on Amazon. It's $12.95. Definitely check it out. I know there are no pictures right now on Amazon, so hopefully this video can give you a preview of a lot of the pictures, not all of them, of a lot of the pictures.
Yeah.
We weren't able to meet with Lisa today because of schedules and time zone changes. So she recorded a little message for all of you about the Love Book because she's the main author of it. And we're just going to cut to her really quick. Hope you enjoy hearing her little message.
I grew up with the idea of a love book because my grandma, Helen Andelin, wrote love books when she was married to my grandpa. She was the originator of Fascinating Womanhood, so she didn't really need a lot of prompts and a lot of ideas. She had all the ideas and wrote in a blank book. I've had a lot of ladies ask me when I teach Fascinating Womanhood classes, they ask me for ideas and things that they can appreciate about their husband and treasure hunt. And I've written so many lists to so many different ladies. I thought, it would be nice if I could just say, here's the list. You can just put everything in this book. I thought it would be really nice if you had a place that you could write all the wonderful things about your man, to be able to treasure hunt for his admirable qualities. A lot of the ideas for this came from the timeless book, Fascinating Womanhood for the Timeless Woman. And I went through a lot of the chapters and thought, what would be a great way to incorporate these teachings and principles into a love book? We put 3 different activities, one in each section of the love book, that are designed to help you to kind of exercise your mind and help you to observe your husband a little bit more. As you go through the love book, you'll see these activities. Pay special attention to those because those will really benefit you as you're able to observe your husband and pay more attention to who he is and really appreciate who he is. There's also a section on gift giving because sometimes, I don't know about you, but I find men are a little bit difficult to shop for. What he spends his time on, what he spends money on, will really be a gauge that will help you be a better gift giver. That's just a small part of your relationship. But if gifts are a big deal to him, then that could really up your game. I put the part about the shoe size and neck size and pant size because I've needed that so many times when I'm trying to buy gifts for my husband and he's not there, and I don't want him to know I'm buying clothes, which he really appreciates. So I've been wanting a place that I can keep that and know where it is at all times, all that information. So I put that in there for you because a lot of you ladies need that as well. Even if you think you don't, even if your husband isn't really that into clothes or your man, you will be surprised how much you need his sizes written down somewhere.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. And we're here every week, so don't forget to check back with us next time. And let us know what you think about the Love Journal. Let us know any of your questions. Have you gotten it already? Have you already started filling it out? What do you think? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. We'll talk to you next time.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.